What's up, everybody? This is the first edition of the Fantasy Bros for this year. MFFL champion Corey Maurer, War Pigs, here with Jeff Kennedy, Cartel. Took us a couple weeks to kind of get things going. We're already post game 5, so apologize for that. We'll do what we can to make this an interesting session for you, and then try to do this every week that we can moving forward. Sound good, Corey?
Yes, sir.
Let me bring up screen share here.
Anything we can do to hide our faces.
Let's talk real quick about anything that you see as a trend. Let's like league wide. We'll go into like individual divisions or conferences and individual teams soon, but like just from a top down, macro standpoint, what jumps out at you?
I mean, league wide, I think, and everybody has noticed this already, that we got some different teams on top right now, and some teams that we're used to seeing on top not being there, and not being there at all. Just kind of nobody's talking about some teams that are usually right near the top and scoring lots of points, and that's not happening right now. And it's interesting because I think in a lot of cases, people are just kind of rolling with the same guys they've been rolling with, and those guys are getting older every year, and we kind of don't think about that. It's like, oh, he's got this guy, and that's a household name.
Yep.
But he's 35 now, so guess what? He's not going to score you 20 points a game anymore.
Right. Or like a Julio Jones, right? Somebody that's got a name recognition, or someone that was really good last year, but maybe would have been their peak. And this year they're $2.50, and their production is not going to be commensurate with that cost. So Hunter Renfrow might be an example of that. Somebody that was really good last year, but this year you're going to pay whatever his costs. I forget what it is. It's just too much.
Over 2. Yeah.
For me jumping out, you have like variable, we didn't know what you were going to get with like the Pit Bulls team. And there's some other teams out there that got bit really bad by the injury bug. I got bit by the injury bug. And then you have teams that surprise people. I mean, I don't think anybody, and you included, would have bet money beginning of the season that you were going to start 5-0.
No, I wanted to go back and look. I didn't do it yet to see when the last time that's happened is, and it's got to be probably a decade that I've started 5-0. Like, I don't know the last time I started 5-0.
I mean, the good news is it almost guarantees that you'll make the playoffs. I think 7-7 will get you in.
It has been,
depending on, right. So you'll probably make the playoffs. The bad news is, as you know, and as Untouchables knows, the regular season, record doesn't really matter much. The other surprise, obviously, but for me is, lead dogs. When we did the division, choosing and who's going to be in what division, everyone was like, oh, Cartel's going to walk away with that division. You're in the weakest division. Broad Street Bullies greatly improved their team. It's still Terry. So, they're not going to win, but they are much better than they used to be. Rodney made some good choices, and he's gotten lucky with a couple of players. So he's in 4-1, and not just 4-1. Like, sometimes a team can be 4-1, but they're not very good. They just kind of barely beat other bad teams that are having a bad week. He's putting up significant, consistent points, barring an injury, just like anybody else. If that continues, he's going to be a contender at the end. That being said, we can talk about that later when we talk about the teams. And of course, the Untouchables. I mean, Lead Dogs, Untouchables, and War Pigs, I think, are the clear favorites based on their record, but also based on the strength of their team. But there's an awful lot of games still to play. 3-2 is not out of it. 2-3 is not out of it. And honestly, 1-4 is not out of it, unless you're 1-4 and continuing to have injuries and have issues. So I think there's still a lot to play for. Still too early to pull a winner on who you think is going to win it all, but it's been pretty entertaining so far.
Oh, for sure.
Why don't we go into the Superstar division? And I'm going to go up to this. It's the first time I've used this on Zoom. We're going to do, how did they do it here to find the scores from last week? Live scoring?
I think you can do that. And then you go to the week, maybe.
Yeah. Live
Actually,
scoring.
this is the past week. So there you go. Yeah.
So that would be War Pigs. Is that here?
Yeah, it's
All
weird
right.
with the cities or the states or whatever now in front of it. I'm like, wait, where am I again? I
So
start
this was the only game that was in play before I think Sunday night's game, meaning you were way far ahead of him, but in theory, he could have caught up to you. I think that Devontae had 24 points, which he did his job.
Yep.
Clyde Edwards wasn't really a non-factor. They were down and they had a throw and they did, and Kelsey caught everything and he just didn't score. So,
Yep.
I would say you pulled out the win, you earned the win. It wasn't as close as we thought it might be. Goff didn't have a great game. Jones didn't have, it's a pedestrian game. Damian Pierce showed up and seems to be, a really good rookie. Real quick, there's like 7 rookies to pick from in the first round or two, and everybody hopes and guesses that who they choose is the one that's going to catch fire. No
Yep.
idea who's going to get hurt or if they're going to catch fire. You got Pickens just seems to be doing well. Traylon Burks is on IR. Kenneth Walker now is all of a sudden the starter because Penny's out. Damian Pierce seems to be showing up. I'm missing somebody. There's a wide receiver that's doing really well. Who am I missing?
I don't know.
Anyways,
Put me
my
on the
point
spot.
is,
I don't know.
it's a crapshoot. You might be following college football, you might not, but like you can go on and look at the list of the top 10 to pick and they put them in order and you just hope that you get a good one. At the end of the day, sometimes it takes injuries around to give. Brees Hall is another good one.
Running
You need
back,
injuries
yeah.
around you to actually give them the opportunity to show what they have. And often once they get a hold of that and they're 21, 22 and they're fighting someone that's got injuries, it's 28, 29, that explosiveness just isn't there. So they might never look back. Damian Pierce could be a great pick. Nothing really to talk about on the rest of his starters. 106 in general, if you look at our scoring as a league, should be enough to win, at least to be super, super close. He just played a team that, scored 33 points from Austin Eckler. And that was pretty much all it took. No one else really had a baller. And Mark Andrews played well too, but everyone else had under 10. Joe Burrow didn't play. He played average. He didn't do anything crazy. And
That rushing, and I texted him at the time that rushing touchdown was huge. I mean,
yeah,
it didn't make the complete difference, but it would have been like a 2-point game without that one. He basically was sitting on 10 for a while, so that was a big touchdown right there. So
yeah. And you would think that if you put a McLaurin in, that's 10 points, he could have beat you. But the reality is he would have had to take one of these guys out and he would have
yeah,
lost the points. And there's really no way he could have beat you based on the teams that played and how they played. So
oh,
well earned win for the Pigs. Unfortunately, a loss for Connecticut Commandos. And it is what it is for that week. What was the next one? Do you remember?
what in that division?
Yeah. Who else is in your
Oh,
division? Chicago
I
Blues.
can't recognize the things anymore. It's Bad Company, right? Is it Bad Company?
Bad Company. Yeah, we'll do Bad Company. That one is there. Yeah.
Yep.
Take it away.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it's surprising to Mike. Unfortunately, he actually had a good week. 95 points. I think it's pretty good for him at this point. I think he knows that, and nobody likes to lose and already play for next year. But I think he knows that's what's happening. And we've talked privately on. I know he already feels like he made a lot of mistakes last year, just reaching for it when he knows that it's not really there, and making mistakes trading for players instead of getting picks for next year when he's pretty much already out of it. But that's a good showing for him. I mean, look at his lineup. It's 17, 11, 18, 16, 10, 11. That's pretty consistent, right? But the problem is I haven't looked, but that's probably one of his highest scoring games of the year.
Yep.
Right. And 95 is good, but when half the league is scoring over 100, you're probably not going to beat half the league. So you get Bad Company who gets 27 from Hurts, who again, he looks better this year, right? I always said last year he got a lot of points, but he didn't look like a good quarterback. He's getting there. And obviously the Eagles are playing really well. And he accounted for pretty much everything. 27 points and the team scored 20. Obviously, that's not the same thing, but Brees Hall blows up. That's the game winner right there, right? The Jets scoring 40 points against Miami, who had been good this year until Tua got hurt, obviously. And then 22 from Cup, that's normal. So that was to be expected. I mean, that's pretty much what it looks like. Mike couldn't have really done anything. I mean, you're not gonna, his best running back is J.K. Dobbins, and he had 4 points. So,
Yeah, well, that's kind of the issue, right, for him is J.K. Dobbins is on a running team, but there's so many runners. Even
Yeah.
now with the injuries, Lamar Jackson could poach anything at any time. Melvin Gordon's on a dumpster fire team.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. And Ramonde just stepped into the RB1 spot without Harris there.
Yeah.
So maybe he takes out, Gordon and puts in Kenneth Walker, and he's got good receivers, and maybe that turns it around. He can upset a couple of teams, but I just don't think there doesn't have the depth. He doesn't have the depth to get through 8 more games with buys and injuries and score 120 a week. It's not
no.
there.
I mean, it's a crapshoot for him at this point, and unfortunately, Kyler Murray looks like last year's Jalen Hurts, except for he's not putting up the points either. He looks like crap.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people. Now this isn't really related, but it kind of is. You see these people talking about how many video games he plays all the time, and then he doesn't do his homework. He plays too many video games, and it looks like it. He looks like a Madden player.
Yeah.
He's
I saw his
running around and not running the play. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that,
If you wear a lime green leather pantsuit or whatever the fuck he was wearing, you should kick him off your fantasy team just for that. So
yeah, that was brutal.
All right, let's keep moving. We got a lot to get through. Let's go to Chicago Blues. I'm gonna no, actually he played me. Let's do Royal Oak Conan Barbarians. Royal Oak.
Yeah, these are all confusing now.
So this one wasn't close. There's not a lot to talk about. Mahomes blew up. McCaffrey had a great game. Everyone said he was going to suck against a great defense at San Francisco. He did great. The quarterbacks are both out in Carolina, so they're going to lean on McCaffrey even more moving forward. Singletary never was good, wasn't good this game either. Jeffrey Wilson had a great game. Average receivers, average tight end, average everything else. It didn't matter once you had 40, 50 points just from 2 players. That was pretty much it. And also Gabriel Davis, who he didn't start, which I understand why, went off, and Tyler Lockett went off. So he's got options to play that flex play. He's got options to play for the wide receiver. He's got some depth. He even has a backup quarterback in case he needs that for bye. So he's it's biohazards. He's a smart manager, and he's making some of the moves. He's at 2-3, so he's still in the conversation. I know he hasn't given up yet, and nor should he.
The points are there. The points are there for him, right? That
Sure.
Just because his record's 2-3 doesn't mean he's playing like crap. He's just hitting at the wrong time, and obviously he needed this win for sure. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, it was a must win. And the problem with he's going to run into is he has so many players choosing and picking who's going to be great that week. I can see some frustrations for him later where, he plays Gabriel Davis next week because he was amazing this week and he doesn't get any catches, and Lazard goes off for 2 touchdowns, and then he starts, doing what Tim does. Royal Oak Conan Barbarians. Stafford has sucked this year. I dropped him in my other league. He's just horrible. Chubb's a beast. Robinson was quiet. Everybody else was pedestrian. Schultz got injured. And there's no really anybody on his bench he could have played. So I think he's in the same boat as Mike, quite frankly, where he might be thinking towards, how do I get some draft picks? What can I do to kind of put myself in a better position next year? Because I just don't know that there's enough here to win 5 games in a row. Because he starts to play other really good teams. Not that Biohazards isn't a good team, but it's not it's not Lead Dogs, it's not Untouchables. Like, he has a couple of losses still to go. And I think once you get down to where you can't get to 500, that's probably when you should be looking to the future.
Yeah. And just to say, I mean, you look at this lineup, obviously Swift is hurt. That's a big one. But it's Swift and Chubb and the rest of this roster. I mean, there's nothing there. There's nobody here. There's no Godwin. Brady looks old. Godwin looks like, Godwin gets hurt every week. Whether he comes back in the game or not, it's debatable, but he seems like the dude that's going to be marked as injury prone. It sucks, but
Yeah.
That dude's hurt every week. Every time I look up, oh, he's going off again. Oh, he came back later, but
Godwin's hurt. Sutton's on Denver, which is might as well be hurt.
Yeah,
Schultz got hurt. Robbie Gold, his fucking kicker, got hurt. Swift is hurt. Kyle
Taylor's
Pitts,
45 years
hurt.
old.
Like,
you know?
he's just lucky you can't get hurt as a defender. He probably the Packers would be hurt too. So
Right.
that
Yeah.
is what it is. Let's go to the next one. I'll let you do this one because it's mine. That's Cartel and the Chicago Blues, which would be a CB. There we go.
Yeah, so this is again, you're 2-3, Blues are 2-3, and I think this is what I was talking about earlier, surprising everyone. You look at the Blues roster. I don't know how he won 2 games, honestly. I mean, this is brutal, dude. I mean, his best player up to this point, which surprised me when I look at it, was Christian Kirk on Jacksonville, who had a great year up until today and until yesterday. Then they just lay a complete egg somehow. And obviously Derrick Henry's always there, so I wasn't even thinking about him. But Michael Carter, I think, is a surprise. I don't think the Jets are going to keep winning games, certainly not like that. So to get 16 from him is probably bonus time. Brady, that's a good game for Brady this year for sure, right? That's easily the best game he's played this year. So I don't expect that to keep happening. T. Higgins sat on the bench the whole game. They just didn't tell him they were going to do that. So that sucks. That really sucks. They were even at halftime. They were like, "So, coach, is he going to play?" I was like, "Nah, I don't think so." Like, what are you supposed to do? So Cam Akers and all of the Rams suck. And he's got 2 running backs from the same team, and they both suck, and the whole team sucks, and that's just brutal.
And Michael Thomas is hurt, and now Pat Freiermuth got a concussion, so he's hurt. T. Higgins is hurt. They didn't go to AJ Brown the entire game. So
I don't know why Michael Thomas has a 0. They just said Taysom Hill, make Corey look good. I mean, is that what happened? I don't even,
Michael Thomas is still hurt. Michael Thomas didn't play at all.
He didn't play. Yeah. So this lineup is, I think he already said something about it when he was on the site a month ago, is that this is the worst team he's had in years. And I think it's pretty obvious. So I don't expect anything from that team. And on your side, you got Kamara back finally.
Yeah.
That's a 21 is great for him this year. Jefferson obviously went off. I think you got to be a little concerned about CeeDee Lamb because Dallas looks good as a team, but I mean, it could completely turn around when Dak comes back, assuming they give Dak the job back, which there's some debate about that. But that quarterback that they have now doesn't do anything. He just game manager.
They have to give it to Dak. They paid him too much money to have him sit on the clipboard. So Jonathan Taylor got hurt. They put in Hines. Hines got hurt after
he gets hurt immediately, right?
The third play. So I'm like, great, I'm going to lose. And then Herbert didn't really do anything.
No.
Hollywood Brown has been an epiphany, and he was good last year, but he's just played so consistently this year. CeeDee Lamb, I'm hopeful that when Dak comes back, things get better. Who I'm really pissed off about is George Kittle, my number 1 round draft pick, who just, I mean, he was hurt for a couple games, but he just, I don't know, man. He's just not
like,
what
I don't know if you've been watching those games, dude. He comes in to block. I mean, he's obviously a good football player. He's not catching passes anymore.
I don't get it.
They don't look at him at all. Like he used to be like Kelsey, Kittle, which way are you going to go? And I just don't. He's completely fallen off as far as the offense goes. So, you got some. Obviously, Taylor is the big one for you. I don't think at all that you can count on Mostert to be like that. I mean, they got blown out and he just ran the ball out, but that's their 3rd string quarterback. That's why they ran on him.
He's number 1 now. He took over for Chase Edmonds.
Right. That's what I mean. But they've got a 7th round pick rookie quarterback.
Right.
right now.
Right.
So I don't know. That's like, you had to have this game for sure. And, so you're another one of those teams that's 2-3, 3-2 that there's no reason to give up at this point.
No, I think next week I'm going to play Mostert and sit CeeDee Lamb because of the 2 of them, I'd rather have RB1 than a wide receiver who has a quarterback that can't throw to him. So maybe we'll work out, maybe it won't. Let's move on to the next one, which is we did Rodney's, right? No, we didn't.
No.
Lead dogs. Yeah, so this was, I mean, not a lot to talk about here. It wasn't even close. Was never close. It's not going to be close. Ted's team, God bless him. Tua gets injured as soon as he gets him. You know, he had another quarterback that was hurt. Ezekiel Elliott's fallen off. I don't know how a starting quarterback gets 1.98 points.
That's what I'm looking at. How does that happen? That's like the game. It reminded me of the game. It was Patriots last year when they were like, okay, we're just not going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Remember that game? I don't know what happened, but they were like literally threw the ball like 3 times the entire game and he wasn't hurt. That's what
And the guy that lost that week had Mac Jones as a quarterback and needed like 6 points to win, and he got like 2.1, whatever.
Yep.
That's why we love fantasy football. There's not a lot there to really chat about. I think the quarterback should get 2 points for putting his helmet on. So we need to change that as an MFL rule. And then Rodney, on the other hand, Jackson had a pretty bad game for him and still put up 120 points. That could have easily been, had McKenzie not gotten hurt and Jackson played, it could have been 140, 150 points. Like, you know, Ron didn't do anything. Kelsey blew up. Like, he's got the pieces there as long as Jackson doesn't get hurt. If Jackson or Fournette goes out, I don't know that Montgomery or Patterson or whoever quarterback he can get in can step in and provide that same consistent top 5, top 3 finish. But maybe he never gets hurt. I mean, it's possible too.
Yep.
All right. Who's left? Who do we not do? We do this one. We did that one.
Yeah.
We did that one. Did you?
Yep.
Did them. We did Texas. Oh, how do we forget these two? How do we forget this colorful pair here?
That's right.
Go ahead and hit it.
Yeah, so this is again, Untouchables, pretty much same position he's in every year right now for the most part. I think he had one bad week and that was still like 90 points. So if you consider that a bad week. So that was the week he lost, obviously. So other than that, pretty much the same season he's having every year. Allen goes off, Dalvin Cook over 20, Diggs goes off. His kicker even gets 13. The defense gets 12. I mean, this was just everybody. Look at his bench. His bench is all in teens as well.
Yep.
Benjamin, talk about who's that? I don't know who that is. Apparently he's a running back in Arizona.
He's Connor's handcuff.
Yeah. So and even Goddard on the bench as well at tight end, 13 points. So he had options all over the place. Didn't need them. And that's pretty much this is the same story, right? And he knows it. He's got to turn this into playoff success somehow. So I don't know what that means. I don't know how you do that. You know, my famous saying is you get to the playoffs, you see what happens. And that's all you can do. You just hope.
Well, talking for I think he got a lot of players on that team. Geez, I didn't find out. Talking for Terry or for Broad Street Bullies, you know, you've got Edmonds as an afterthought now. Herbert Hairberry, whatever. He played really well early, but now Montgomery's come back in. Madison's obviously a handcuff. Zamir White hasn't done anything, but DeAndre Hopkins is coming back. So that might give him a little punch on receiver because Chris Olave is going to be coming back from his concussion at some point. London Drake is a beast, but he has got no one to throw to him. Like he has the core of youth that if he can get through this season and maybe draft a couple of more key pieces next year, it'd be interesting in 2024. I just don't know that this is going to be a contender in 2022. No,
this is one of those teams with some good names that everybody knows, but they're all very young and they're all in situations that you're like, Like you said, Drake London has been great this year until this week, and it's because Mariota throwing to him or running and maybe throwing him the ball.
We'll put Najee Harris on the Buffalo Bills and see what happens.
Exactly.
Right. He's a good player. He's young. He doesn't get injured. He just is on a shit team that's going to be behind by 20 points. And Barkley's a great player on a shit team, but he also has an injury history. So glad he came back from his little shoulder thing he had.
And Rodgers is Rodgers, but he has no receivers anymore. So this is about it. Honestly, this is about as best as you're going to get out of Rodgers anymore. You're going to be lucky if he gets 20.
Yeah.
Because he's got nobody to throw to. His best receiver is 45-year-old Randall Cobb. So
and he's expensive.
Yeah.
not like he's an inexpensive quarterback to hold on your rosters. Okay, let's look forward to next week. We got forget all these spreads. That's not accurate. People have done their lineups and stuff, so whatever. But week 6 head-to-head matchup. Conan Barbarians, War Pigs.
That's easy. That's got to be me. That's a huge upset if it's not.
I mean, I'm rooting for Barbarians, but I think it's probably going to be the War Pigs.
Right.
I have to root against you every game at this point.
Yeah.
Motor City Kings, your brother-in-law versus the Cartel.
Yeah, that's got to be Cartel. That's again an upset if it's not, right?
You would think. Same thing with Lead Dogs Bullies. Not a lot of
Yep.
tension here so far.
Nope.
Pretty clean owners. Now every time we do this, someone's going to show up and like, Rogers runs for 5 touchdowns or something like that. So
Right.
who knows?
League record
Biohazards minus 52 to Commandos. Maybe he took out all of his players.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
No, that's a good game right there because Commandos has more points than you think. But we didn't look at the screen, but his record isn't great. But he's one of those teams. I think he's 2-3. I don't know off the top of my head.
He's 3-2.
Okay.
He scored 534 points this year. You
Yep.
scored 547. He's 10 points.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
5.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. These teams are all interchangeable. It's just the record looks a little different. Tim's the same way. He's 2-3. Canada's 3-2, and that's a real close game right there. So
This is an interdivision game, which is even a little more important because you want to make sure you're at the top of your division.
Yeah.
And if Commandos wins, they'll go to 4-2. If Brooklyn lose, if Detroit, who am I at? If Commandos wins, they'll be 4-2. If Biohazards wins, they'll be 3-3, and Commandos will be 3-3. So there'll be an evening of that.
Yep.
Super important game. I'll be watching it. Pit Bulls and Touchables. I think there's probably not a more unfair team than the game than this.
Nope.
Ted, if you're watching this, don't watch
Sorry,
the game
dude.
Sunday. Go bowling or go, do a box or something else that's not this.
Just don't drink and post.
I like it. So do whatever you want. Chicago Blues. I know, Nandu, you're not going to watch this, so it doesn't matter what I say. Bad Company is right now 3-2, 550. They have the most points after the Lead Dogs and Brooklyn of the entire league. So I got to think they'll beat Chicago Blues, but
this should be again, and that's going to be wrong, right? This should be all blowouts except for one game. All of these matchups are bad except for the Biohazards and the Commandos. These should all be easy games for the favorite.
I agree.
But we know that's not going to happen. So it'll probably completely flip and we'll get that one wrong and everything else will flip. So
all right, so let's do this. That concludes our recap and kind of forecast for what we think is going to happen. Do you want to play a game?
Yes, sir. Give me it.
I'm going to pick some players from teams, and I'm going to tell you just one word: beast or bum.
Okay, one word only. I'll actually stick to it.
This would be hard for Corey to just say one word. So
you say one word and I give you a paragraph. Let's try to see if I can actually say one word.
Beast or bum. Let me do rosters here. Hold on.
This is going forward, right? This is like the rest of the year. Is he going to be a beast or a bum?
Good question. I think this would just be in general as a player.
Okay.
Beast or bum. Sometimes people have good points, but they're just bums. They're overproducing, right? And there's sometimes players that are underproducing, right? So it could be either way. Let me get in the app. It's going to be easier for me to do the rosters. All right. From the Cartel, Devin Duvernay, beast or bum?
Bum.
Let's do from the Broad Street Bullies, Juju Smith-Schuster, beast or bum?
Bum.
Belleville Lead Dogs, Josh Jacobs, beast or bum?
I'm going beast.
All right. I disagree with you on that one, but I like it. Let's go from the Untouchables, Jeff Bruni, beast or bum?
Such a beast. Such a beast.
Let's see. From his team, let's say Dallas Goddard, beast or bum?
Bum.
I think he's overproducing for what we expected, but on that offense, I think everyone could be a beast. He just opens everything up. He was awesome last game.
Yeah.
Nandu's team, Chicago Blues. Let's do
Bunch of bums.
Bunch of bums. Let's do, that one's too easy. That one's too hard. Michael Carter, beast or bum?
Ooh. Ooh, that is tough. I guess I'll go beast. I'll go beast this time.
All right.
I don't know.
This Connecticut Commandos. I'm not gonna say Devontae Adams because we know how you feel about the push. This is gonna be a hard one. DJ Moore.
I mean, you gotta say bum. And I gotta say more than one word because the only reason I say that is because his quarterback is a complete bum.
I think he's a beast in bums clothing.
Yeah,
Detroit Biohazards.
bum.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, since our team is a bunch of bums, it's hard for me to pick somebody that might not be. Let's say Travis Etienne.
Ooh. I don't know. I guess I'll say bum. I just don't know. I feel like I see Jacksonville play and I never see him. Like the highlights they show of Jacksonville, it's not him.
Or it's him dropping the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just looking at that the other day, and it's like that's the dude that he was counting on, kept him on IR to get a cheap running back this year. I realize I'm saying way more than one word, but I've been so good up to this point. And that's a dude that you thought was going to be really good, but I don't know what's going on. Like, did he? I think he had 10 points. Is that the first time this year he had 10 points? I don't think he scored yet. So I don't know.
War Pigs, Joe Burrow, beast or bum?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna say bum. I'm gonna say
Definitely
bum.
underperforming for how much he costs.
I think he
The
looked
potential that
great.
he has.
Yeah, I think he looked great last year, and this year, I don't know if it went to his head or what, but he doesn't look like the same dude right now.
The Kings, Kenneth Walker III,
Ooh,
his free first round pick he got. Beast
Yeah.
or bum?
I'm gonna go beast. We'll find
Beast.
out. We'll find
will.
out.
We will. I was talking to him today. I said, we're talking about what it would cost to try to get him, and he had that one run that was amazing, right? But also as a owner, you don't want to overpay for one highlight reel run. Can you do that consistently? Is he the guy? How's it going to play? I think people are a little hesitant to throw too much at it because you have a small sample share.
I'll tell you this. I know, and this is insider information, so don't tell anyone.
Okay.
All 12 of you watching.
Yep.
Right? Don't tell anybody else. I'm not saying any names or teams or anything. I'll tell you that he got some real crap offers for that dude.
Yep.
And then he had one incredible offer. And I mean, you would be surprised. And he still didn't take it because that's how much faith he has in how good that dude's going to be.
All right. Well, I can tell you one thing for certainty. We will find out if that was the right move or not by the end of the year. It'll either be like, wow, it's amazing, or damn, I wish I had those 3 first round picks.
Exactly.
Royal Oak Barbarians. I mean, I was gonna say Matthew Stafford, but that's too easy.
Yeah, that's too
easy. Let's do a harder one. Let's do James Robinson.
Yeah, bum. I honestly think that's easy too. I don't even know barely who that guy is,
That's my next game.
Yeah.
Royal Oak Barbarians. We just did. We didn't do them. Royal Oak Barbarians. Let's do. I mean, it's almost too easy. It's too easy. Let's do a weird one. Let's do Jalen Waddle.
Ooh, I gotta go beast. I'm gonna go beast. Yeah.
Ipsy Pitbulls. Ezekiel Elliott.
Bum. He's done.
I think so too. Well, that was it. If you guys like the beast or bum, let us know. We'll try to do it more often. If you hate it, then don't tell us. Just let us. I got one more game for you today. I keep trying to think of things we can do to kind of spice it up, make it interesting. And this one should be fun. This one's going to be called, I wish I had like visuals behind me, like who the hell is? Because often we talk about players, and Corey, almost every fourth comment will be like, I don't even know who that guy is. So I want to see if your knowledge of players is really as bad as it used to be, because it's possible.
Probably.
I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah, it's probably
I'm
bad.
gonna name a player's name, and I'm gonna try to make it from teams, although that might be too easy. I may go to the actual pool of players and pick people that I know that I think are pretty common, but that are also underneath the radar that maybe you haven't heard of.
Sure.
All right, so let's try. Ready?
Mhm.
You need to tell. You get 1 point for knowing what team he's on, and 1 point for knowing what position he plays.
Okay.
When you get to 10 points, we'll stop.
And if I know his wife's name, I get 10 points, right?
I'm totally making this game as we go, so it could be. Let's see. You should know all of those people, so I'm not gonna bother you with them.
Never know, man.
George Pickens. How about Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson. I have no idea who that is. Sounds like a wide receiver from somebody. I don't know. I have no idea who that is.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'll say Washington wide receiver. I have no idea who that is.
He's a receiver for the Jets.
I got a receiver, right? I get a point.
Yeah, you get
Right.
1 point.
Okay, I'll take it. I still don't know who that is. It doesn't help me.
How about Zay Jones?
Oh, that's a wide receiver. He used to be in Jacksonville, right?
Where is he now?
I have no idea.
What is your guess?
Carolina.
Zay Jones is a receiver for Jacksonville. 1 point for you.
Oh, come on.
Nope. You got suckered in. That's the way it goes. 2 points for you. Let's see. Who else might you not know as on a squad? I mean, most of these people have high budgets, so they can't pick up kind of players and Josh Reynolds because you're a Detroit guy. So
Barely. If I hadn't picked him up, I probably wouldn't know.
Tyler Algier.
Running back, right? Somebody's handcuff. Washington?
Tyler is a rookie running back for Atlanta. He's Cordell Patterson's backup. So you get 1 point for that. You are pretty bad at this, actually.
I'm operating at 50% right now, about I think.
I think you probably operate 50% often. Let's see, anything else here? You know that one. Yeah, all right. I need to go to the player pool here. I'm gonna go to my watch list. No, I'm not gonna do that because then we're telling everybody what my watch
Here's
list
all the
is.
guys that that Kennedy wants. Let's go down that list.
All right, how about Irv Smith?
Tight end. Why do I keep wanting to say Washington? Like every team, I want to say Washington, but I'm going to say Washington anyway.
No, it's Minnesota.
Dang. He's a tight end though, right?
Yeah, you got tight end part right. If anybody knows tight ends,
That's right.
it is you.
It's Tim. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. Let me try one more. See if I can try to get you on this one.
I think this is one of these games that's going to be. This was fun for me, but nobody else cared.
Well, I don't know. I think we can definitely overdo it, right? So one last one for you. Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce. Good Lord. Running back. Giants.
Where do you live?
Is he here? He's
Where
in
do you live?
Indy?
What state do you live in?
Indiana, I think.
And who's your football team? Colts.
Michigan Wolverines.
Colts. Who's your number one wide receiver?
Pittman.
Who's number two?
Apparently Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce. He's a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's doing really well, actually.
Is he?
Mhm.
Is he though?
Yeah. I
don't
mean,
know.
for Matt
think
Ryan, doing pretty
Matt
well.
Ryan, I don't think Matt Ryan knows who that is either.
You know what you need to do is have everyone on their team wear those bright green leather pantsuits so they can find them on the field.
Oh, geez. You know what would be a good game? A good game would be name these players. Here's the players. What team are they on now? Like half the league got traded or went to a new team. Like that's what I'm saying. I knew most of the guys you said,
Yeah.
most of them, but no clue where they play now in most cases.
Well,
So,
next time you can do it to me.
yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to say about the league before we call it a wrap?
I mean, I enjoy being in first place overall and undefeated. And it's a weird position for me because I know A, it doesn't matter. B, it's not going to last. But as lots of people say, it's funny when people say I'm out of it, I'm 1-4. You're not at all. But like I said earlier online, it's actually true. I probably only have to win 3 more games to get in.
Mhm.
That's crazy,
Then it's just seeding. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to have a bye. That's the other. I don't remember the last time I had a first round bye. I don't. It's been forever since I had a first round bye. Obviously, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but let me say this. I did want to say, looking at divisions, it's very obvious if you just look at points, again, not records, right? Very obvious which the worst division in the league right now, which is yours. So that's good for you, right? Least amount of points by division. If you just go to the homepage, it had it all on there. Just go back to the homepage. There you go. Yeah, look at the AAD there. You got the Bullies and the Kings all under 500 points.
We've all been beating each other up. But yes,
Sure.
you're right. You're
You
right.
could take it that way. It's
100%.
but again, even saying that, all 3 of you are also less than 100 away from the top point getter. But
Yeah. And let me step up for at least my team. Can't speak for everybody else's. Kamara was out for 2 games. Taylor was out for a game. I had to mess around with my quarterback because they got hurt too. Kittle was out for the first 2 games. Like I've been hit at Keenan Allen was out he's still out. He hasn't played again. I don't think he's played one game
in the NFL anymore.
He's great when he gets in. That's why I'm holding on to Herbert, is because
when he
gets in, he's going to be great. So all I'm saying is that there's the scores that have been scored for some teams are lower than they should have been. For some, they're right what they should have been.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting to see, if everyone keeps getting injured, then it just is what it is this season. But if people come back and buys don't mess people up, that'd be a conversation for next week is buys. Does that all of a sudden go from being a middling 90 to 95 scoring every week to 120? If you score 120 in a week, you should win.
Yep.
Unless somebody blows it up, right? As an average. Last year, before we did PPR, if you scored around 90 to 95, you should win most of the games. So things have shifted a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just purely looking at numbers. You guys got the worst division, and honestly, you kind of do anyway. But looking at this list, we talked about it before. You got probably 1, 2. I realize I'm putting it at the screen and you guys can't see that. 1, 2, because I don't want to call anybody out. 3, 4. I think 5 teams, not because of their record, but because of who's on their team, their roster wise, those guys aren't making it. So
yeah, I agree.
And there's only one more
line down the middle of the league.
Yeah, it's close.
Them are tough, and half of them have a chance. I feel really bad for Ipsy Pitbulls. They've got 88 points for and 551 points against. That's second or third worst in the league, but easily the worst as far as point. Easily, I guess Royal Barbarians is almost the same. Like he's had a rough, or him and Barbarians are almost the same. Actually, now that I look at it, both had a rough run for their first season. Yeah, with the team, it gets easy.
Usually what happens, though, right? I mean, there's a reason guys usually don't quit if they had a really good team, except in one case. So.
Yeah, it gets easier. You just have to get through the first year or 2 and kind of put your stamp on your team.
Right. But the question here's the thing, right? Here's your free advice, guys that are new to the league, even though you've been playing fantasy football as long as I have. Don't reach for the stars when you really don't have a chance. Don't blow your team up. And Mike will attest to this. It was a huge mistake, and he knows it. He went to try to make the playoffs last year when he had no business trying to do that. And he basically lost a year of growth that he could have had. He should have been higher this year, a draft pick wise, and should have had more than he did. And he mistakenly thought that he had a chance at making it. If he was realistic about it, if you're realistic about it, you should be playing for next year. Start now and do what you have to do. But,
To me, there's a pie graph with pie slices, and there's 5 pie slices, 20% each. Maybe this is too generalized, but for me, it's how I see it. The first part of it is, how did you draft? Did you get
Mhm.
good players? Did you get players that got hurt in preseason and never played, or that blew up that no one heard of before in the 8th round? Like, how did you draft is number one. Number two is playing the right player at the right week on the right time, choosing between, you have 2 wide receivers that are the same. You pick the right one, can be the difference between winning and losing. The other third 20% is the ability to trade, to find win-win situations that work for everybody, that can actually improve your team and not give away the future unless you're really making a push. 1, 2, 3. There's 2 left. The other one is, gosh, I had these written down. Drafting, who you play, trades. Oh, free agency. Being able
Mhm.
to find smart free agency and then be able to work the salary. Because finding a free agent that's great, that's overpriced, is less valuable than finding a monster who's 0.20 and is now giving me starting RB1 numbers. Like, to me, that's more valuable than Josh Jacobs, who might be 250 and gives you RB1 numbers too. But that is a better value to cost ratio, which is
Yep.
important when you have a salary cap to work through. So
Yep. Yep.
and there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching this all the way to the end for both of you. And
Me and
we will
you.
see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.
All right. Thanks. See ya.
See you, Corey.
Is it still going?